So a couple days ago on the channel, I of course made a video talking about the potential for a big Zelda sort of maybe focused, maybe sort of emphasized Nintendo Direct happening. And it seems like that video is aging quite well, because since I uploaded that video, there's been a lot of stuff that's come out from this, potential games, potential dates of this event as well. And I sort of want to talk about the latest and the greatest as far as what is happening with this alleged Nintendo Direct happening within the month of September. Was I a soothsayer? Did I see into the future with this? Honestly, not really. I just sort of made that video, and then usually when I make a video, I have a thumbnail in mind, I have a title for the video in mind, and I sort of build around that. But right at the end, when I was uploading the video, I was like, you know, I talked a lot about Zelda stuff in this. Why don't I sort of switch the emphasis to a more Zelda focused thing? And like I said, it seems like that video is aging very, very well with my predictions in them. So we're going to talk about the latest stuff that's been happening with this Direct and sort of kind of fill in some of the gaps here as far as what is happening. Now, before we get too deep into things, let's once again clarify, I'm not the one saying that this information is true, this information is accurate. I am simply relaying this information from other sources, and our other source, once again, happens to be Jeff Grubb. Now, after I made that video, Jeff Grubb actually did his podcast with his fellow friend, I think his name is Mike, and they did their podcast that night, and Jeff said that there was going to be a Zelda blowout at this event, at this Nintendo Direct. His words, not mine. Pretty much leading me to believe that yes, you're going to see Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD at this event, and potentially even more, because, you know, I feel like they're going to talk about Breath of the Wild 2, maybe give it a name, maybe give it a title, you know, maybe give it a release date as well, to sort of put the emphasis on this Zelda stuff. Because, you know, if there's games coming out and you're wanting to hype up arguably your biggest game on the Nintendo Switch for 2023, you're going to want to talk about it at this event, especially if, like I said, you are showing off other Legend of Zelda games. Now, there has been some queries about this as far as how are they going to handle this? Is this going to be an individual release for each of these games at $60? How are they going to do this? Now, from what I've heard, that's not going to be the case. It is supposedly going to be a double pack at $60, which I think everyone would be fine with, you know, $30 a piece for those games. Obviously, those games are already HD versions of the games because of the availability on the Wii U, as those games were released on the Wii U with HD versions. So that's cool. That's fine. If we're talking about $60 a piece, though, I think you have to start making The Last of Us Part 1 comparisons with it, because I don't see them really changing anything with these games. And you could say, well, RGT, you were fine with Skyward Sword HD, and that was an individual game at $60. Skyward Sword was never an HD version of a game. It was on the Wii. Skyward Sword also had motion controls, which I just didn't like. They didn't work for me. It wasn't what I was about, and they got rid of those. Well, they sort of supplemented them, I guess I should say, with a brand new, more traditional control scheme. So with that game, you know, work went into it. There was obviously some stuff that happened behind the scenes. They had to make that version of the game HD. They had to differentiate the controls from the original release. Whereas, like I just said, with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, there are already HD versions of these games available. They already exist. So I don't see how you charge $60 a piece for it, but that's just me. Nintendo fans, I mean, we'll complain and then we'll still buy them anyways, because that's what we are. But I'm hoping that the whole 2-pack for $60, I'm hoping that that's what they do. They've done Zelda packs before in the past, but that was kind of the old Nintendo. The new Nintendo just seems to like to overcharge you for everything. So Zelda blowout information aside, we also learned about the potential window for this event happening, and once again, I was pretty much spot on. After the release of Splatoon 2, allegedly this event will be happening on the week of September 12th. So that's sort of our timetable for this event. You know, more than likely, that does make sense. You want to do it after Splatoon comes out. You know, Nintendo sometimes does the directs towards the very beginning. This is more so the middle of the month, but when you have a big release, you kind of got to work around that. I get it. It makes sense, and I think that's a good timetable. But that kind of leads me into the next point, because there's Tokyo Game Show happening on that weekend. I believe the Tokyo Game Show starts on the 15th and goes until the 18th. And obviously Tokyo Game Show is not what it used to be. It used to be a huge thing. Like Tokyo Game Show was one of the biggest shows in the world, but Japanese companies still do respect Tokyo Game Show more so than other just events that pop up, Gamescom. And I think that there could be some fun stuff here. We actually have Konami, who's teasing something. And I know you're kind of like, well, why would Konami tease something for Tokyo Game Show? First off, it's Konami, F Konami, you know the vibes around here. But why would Konami tease something for Tokyo Game Show, and how would it have any impact on the Nintendo Direct? Well, you can announce something at the Nintendo Direct that's based on a Nintendo game or a Nintendo platform, or, you know, just a Nintendo theorized sort of thing, you know, a memory of Nintendo stuff, and then do something at Tokyo Game Show to showcase more information, release dates, gameplay, let people check it out on the floor, whatever the case may be. So Konami has said that they're reviving a fan favorite franchise, and that should scare the hell out of you, because immediately you think of things like Metal Gear Solid, you think of things like Silent Hill, you think of things like Castlevania, and I don't think Konami knows what their fans want. I don't think Konami knows what their fans need. So this could go in a completely opposite direction. It could be one of the most bizarre things in the world. I mean, I'd be happy with a Goemon game. Like that would be fine with me, but you never truly know with Konami. Now there's other rumors happening with Konami based on what speculation has been happening on the internet. Metal Gear Solid 1 through 3 remastered edition. I'm like, don't toy with me. Don't toy with me with that, because I would lose my freaking mind. Okay, you don't think you understand the importance of those games to me. Could this be tied into our Nintendo Direct? Maybe. You know, I think if you're doing an event the same week as Tokyo Game Show 2022, and there's a lot of Japanese companies with it, let's be realistic, Nintendo still has a very strong Japan presence and stuff like that. That's a good way to showcase potential upcoming games or things that are going to be at Tokyo Game Show sort of before it. You have to imagine that if it starts on the 15th, which is a Thursday, the Direct is going to happen before that. More than likely, I would say Wednesday, the 14th, I think makes the most sense for this whole sort of thing. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's getting exciting though, and it looks like my video is aging like a fine wine, like a fine cheese, instead of like, you know, a moldy old foot-long sandwich that you've been holding on to. Remember that episode of The Simpsons where you got the giant sub? I used to buy giant subs all the time, and I would hold on to them to the very end because I paid for this sub, and I want the most of the sub. But I think this is going to be a fun Direct, you know? The whole emphasis on it being a full Nintendo Direct is still on the table. And let's be real, if none of this stuff happens, you don't complain to me. You don't complain to me, because I'm not the one providing this information. I am relaying this information. This is secondhand with RGT. Who do you go after? You go after that son of a bitch, Jeff Grubb, okay? I'm just kidding. I love Jeff. I don't really know how I'm ending this video, so we're going to stop rambling, and we're just going to tidy things up here. So that's the latest and greatest with the Nintendo Direct. The games, the date, the Zelda blowout, the potential connection with Tokyo Game Show 2022. It's going to be exciting, I think. It's going to be a fun time, and you know, hopefully we get some bangers at this. Let me know in the comment section down below what you expect to see at this, what you're hopeful to see at this. Do you think that there's going to be a Zelda blowout? Not my words, Jeff Grubb's words. Do you think that there is going to be some play in with Tokyo Game Show 2022 as well, considering that it's happening the same alleged week of this Direct? And what do you think? Is this Direct even going to happen? Is Nintendo just going to be freaking weirdos and then just do whatever they want to do and do no Nintendo Direct? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share, hit the bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.